Hello everybody, and Jess here, and welcome back to Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, episode 3. In the previous episode, what actually happened? We learned a little bit about Athames, which is the sacrificial dagger. We know that that's what it means. But in this world, those are the swords they are using, how they were born of maybe not necessity, kinda, sorta. They appeared when one of the mages, who was apparently a very strong mage, was defeated by a non-magical person with a sword. So they decided that, hey, every mage should just have a sword, just in case someone manages to close the distance, just in case your incantation is too long, etc, etc, etc. So that was a very nice bit of world building. I enjoyed it very much. We had a little bit of a duel that is still a little bit of a what the fuck, with our samurai girl seemingly wanting a fight to the death, and our main character almost falling for that. I'm still not entirely clear what the fuck just happened, and I don't think our main character is entirely clear on that either. So I guess I'm confused myself, and also confused by proxy. So that was interesting. Then we got a little bit of introduction to magical zoology, or whatever it was called, that subject where they had to extract silk, or rather cause the magic silkworms to produce silk, to produce cocoons, and if you push too much magic into them, they turn black and sprout wings and become very aggressive, and you need to burn them. And that whole thing, that whole sequence, that whole scene, I'm not 100% sure what that was supposed to establish. I think it was one of the things that were supposed to establish just how dangerous magic and this school itself is. How shitty of a place this academy is. Right? That even the teachers don't care about safety particularly much. There's that approach of, you made the mess, you go and deal with it. And not to mention having students work with potentially dangerous creatures pretty much right from the get-go. No safety precautions, nothing like that. So I think that was the purpose of that scene, and of course a little bit of an introduction to our animal lover girl, although we already knew she's an animal lover and she doesn't really have much more of a personality besides that, so not like it brought her particularly much development. And of course, in the end, we found our way to the maze that encroaches into the school, which is, I'm pretty sure, another OSHA violation. And our characters were attacked by an upperclassman and another teacher, which is another what the fuck kind of a situation, even more so than so far, because it's one thing to have classes be dangerous and the teacher perhaps being a little bit too lax compared to the danger the classes pose. It's another thing entirely having a teacher act 100% completely willingly malicious and aggressive towards students, right? Those are two completely different things, and I can understand, okay, the school is dangerous and it's the results that matter, yada yada yada, so our classes are hardcore, only a few people manage to survive them, but the results are great. how can a succubus upperclassman and a random teacher necromancer in a maze trying to stop students from escaping, how does that improve results? Because I'm not entirely clear on that. That seems like just malice for the sake of fun, not really for the sake of results. So okay, I can get behind all's good as well as long as results are there, but the whole situation with the labyrinth doesn't really speak for results. So yeah, perhaps this school is even worse of a place than I thought it's gonna be. So that's interesting. That also makes it, I guess, another subversion on the usual trope of Magical Academy. Because usually Magic Academies are generally good places, right? Generally, if there's something amiss, the principal or some headmistress or whatever will probably deal with that as soon as they are notified about it. Usually the higher ups at school are also maybe not friendly, or usually friendly towards our main character as well. Perhaps our main character was taken into the school at their discretion, or stuff like that. That's usually how it goes. This time around, it seems like even the principal is, if not actively malicious, then at least doing nothing to prevent anything bad from happening in the name of results, for the most part. And I don't think she's even met our main character yet, so they didn't really even have a chance to create any friendly relationship, and I don't think any such relationship would even be possible in the first place. So not only are the characters very mixed up and reversed, sometimes tropes, the very school itself is that as well. So very interesting. Very interesting. And very interesting, of course, where it's going to go. How are we going to get out of the labyrinth? Is the teacher gonna face some repercussions? Probably not. Is the upperclassman gonna face some repercussions? Probably not. I don't know. Who do we have in our labyrinth? Our main character, the studious bookworm, our main character's not cellmate, not cellmate, roommate, and the third person is the. Who was the third person? The Ojo-sama Gyaru? Or was it the animal-loving girl? No, the animal-loving girl is at a hospital, so it had to have been the Ojo-sama. I'm not entirely 100% sure. We'll see, though. We'll see. Yeah, I don't think I have anything more to say, so I'm just gonna give you your subs to follow along with me. I'm gonna give myself some sound to hear what's going on in the show, and I'm gonna have to ask you for your support, monetary on Patreon, for example, linked down below, or not. Share my content, spread the word. It costs you nothing and helps a lot. And with all of that out of the way, we can start watching episode 3 of Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru in 3, 2, 1, go. Starting where we left off. Yep, Gyaru Ojo-sama. I'm sorry, I still haven't learned their names. This looks plenty like an attack already, so... Yeah, but I'm assuming at least what she does is somewhat pleasant to her victims. Okay, well, that escalated quickly. Okay, belly button arms. Sure. From her belly button. Uh, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. Nanao. Interesting. Her name is Nanao. Nana 7. 7 spellblades. Maybe? I don't know. Also, I think this sequence in the opening takes place in this labyrinth. I wonder if it's going to be a very important part of the story. It feels like it's too big of a thing to be added to the story just for the sake of introducing some random danger, you know? I really like this opening. I really like those drums in particular. I think I just briefly counted them. Teachers and the headmistress. There's 6 of them as well. It's almost as if they're kind of playing with us. What is there 7 of? Not 7 teachers, not 7 students, right? 7 magic swords? Oh. Yeah, you could use Narberal Gamma. She can deal with, whatchamacallit? Skeletal dragons. They're having fun at least. Belly button baby versus bone snake. Oh, so she wants to die still. Honorable death in battle or whatnot. Whomst. Student council president. Alvin got. Of course, student council president. The strongest character in any series besides God himself. Okay, so maybe not a teacher, but a student. He's one ugly student, when one old student, though. Okay, so do they just, like, randomly dwell within this labyrinth? Well, I guess you won't die today. Yes. Yes, actually. Yes, actually, she does. That's her whole thing, it seems. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. I'm glad you understood it so quickly. She has a death wish. I'm pretty sure some therapy and medication would help, but it's based on Japan, so probably neither is available. And she's the sole survivor. Survivorship guilt. Survivor's guilt. Let me fight him. Yep. Trying to find a worthy opponent and whatnot. Not as skilled as she thought, probably. Not gonna be easy. Oh, magic. Some innate magic, of course, because there wasn't any chant. Whomst? Oh, it's the Ojo-sama's father. Okay, so it's his magic. Gotcha. Wear ringlets, though. Well, I guess he has some stuff. Not quite ringlets, but... Okay, so she was, like, literally ripped straight from a battlefield. Of course it's gonna take time to adjust. Yes, actually. Yeah. So basically she's fucked in the head. Seriously. Fucked in the head. Well, that was a quick confession. Yeah. Yes. Yes, actually. That's probably the best out. Well, that went fast. That's like blazing fast. I assume there's gonna be a plot line now where she tries to adjust to the new way of life, but yeah, exactly. Learning the new way of life, but this change being so fast, like halfway through the third episode, that's very fast. It seems like half a season's worth of character development, honestly. And the normal school life has begun. I'm looking at the separation of screen after Witch from Mercury. Those like lines always seem to have a meaning, but not so much this time around, it seems. Metaphorically, yes. Right, I forgot that this guy's name is like literally Guy. Okay, a little bit jelly. Yep. Will Chelly join the harem, I wonder? And I'm assuming you will be very quickly thrown into a situation where you need to survive by the blade. And she's gonna have a little bit of a relapse. Oh, Spellblade. Title drop. Like Ethereal Blade or enchanting your blade or... Okay. And the seventh will be the mystery or something. Or Nanao maybe possesses the seventh one or something. Both die. Or maybe Oliver is the 7th one. I think they actually don't. No, he's doing nothing of the sort. What insolence? Dude, you're projecting shit. Yeah, I mean, fight earnestly, dude. Yes, actually. Seize thy hand-holding and fight. Okay, so fellow upper society members. Also, that jump was abrupt. The jump from the training hall to this scene. How is it not possible? Just fucking fight him. Just fucking fight him earnestly and make him lose, and done. Hello, Professor Snape. That wasn't a concern when you were parading him around? Would be nice if you could brew us a cup. Is that like what, Crucio? Whomst? Another member of the student council? Yeah, literally fucking Severus Snape. Okay, so now we also have fucking politics, huh? People advocating for the rights of magical creatures and human supremacists, essentially. Okay. Yeah, she's gonna need a friend. An upperclassman friend, no less. It's nice to find allies. Yeah, now she knows she's not alone. That's important. I mean, fine by me. Why are they so... Why is Oliver so apprehensive from fighting him? Just slay him down, humiliate him, and done. Or am I missing something? Maybe I am. Maybe I actually am missing something. Or maybe the show is missing something. Maybe something just wasn't adapted. Yeah, with the pace they're going at, wouldn't surprise me if some things just weren't adapted. I even got some clarification from you guys in the comments to the previous episode that there were more scenes shown present rather in the source material. The lesson of magic with the teacher who summoned all those familiars. That was a little bit extended, and we learned about her view that Athames are bad, yada yada yada. So maybe there's some pieces missing here as well. Ah, as long as it's not a spoiler, do tell me in the comments below or on the Discord or wherever you prefer. But as long as it's not spoilers, please. And err on the side of caution. Next episode, Colosseum, so I'm assuming the duel will actually happen. Okay, I think we should just watch this episode again, and maybe I'll spot the things that I missed initially. A lot has happened in this episode. It really felt... The previous episode, perhaps a little bit less so, but this episode really felt like 2 or 3 episodes just glued together. She has some Salvadori succubus name that she really doesn't like. And again, it kind of reminds me of what was it? What was his face? But the egghead from Overlord who summoned skeletal dragons, and really didn't want to be called Suranon by Clementine or whatever. That he doesn't like that name or whatever. It really reminds me of that, but kind of mixed around. This time around, it's the guy who summons skeletal dragons that uses a dead name for someone else. I don't know, just, you know. And I guess you could vaguely see some Clementina in her, but not really. They've already fought. Is he a student or is he a teacher? That's what I want to know, because he looks really old for a student. And he doesn't behave like a teacher. So which is it? Maybe it actually is not high school but college, and like all the way from the lowest degrees all the way to like masters. So it would be like 8, 9, 10-ish years in total, and maybe they are at their 3rd year of master's degrees or whatever, and that's why they're so, or at least he is so old. Oh. Skeletal dragons. This is great. They're not CG. I fully expected CG to be used heavily here, but there seems to be literally no CG. Literally none. And this. Giving birth to a Colossus through her belly button, and she seems to really like that. I mean, good on you. Not my fetish, but hey, I'm not gonna kink shame. What even is this thing? Vaguely humanoid zombie thing with eyes. Cool design. And yeah, no CG. Wait, was it sliding PNGs or was it actually animated? Yeah, it was actually animated. Yeah, jump in a wide pose, at least from the dragon. And the guy on the right is a little bit of a slide and rotate. But the skeletal dragon... No, I think it's also sliding PNG. Yeah, sliding PNGs and camera shake. Doesn't matter. It's not CGI, so I can get behind that. Oh, it's a centaur. Yeah, it's a centaur. Okay, cool. And no escape. Apparently, for whatever reason. Apparently it's for recruitment purposes. Is it like, I don't know, manga and anime club versus track and field club? And whoever wins the battle gets to recruit the freshmen or something? I don't know. This is a place where men die. OP. Can we see that student/teacher guy anywhere else in any other situation? Either among the students or among the teachers. I don't think he's among the teachers. No, he is not among the teachers. So he's probably a student. And we have what? The spellology teacher, the martial arts teacher, the I'm gonna assume potions teacher because he really looks like fucking Severus Snape himself. The something teacher, the father of the Gyaro Ojo-sama, and the magical zoology teacher. 6. Okay, so we now know at least what a spellblade is. Some really cool impact frames. Once I join the battle, it will be a free-for-all, it will be a struggle. Yeah. Yeah, no CG. No CG. What seed will you be putting into that disgusting womb of yours next? Some friendly banter between friends. Someone who was supposed to die has finally found a place to do so. Okay, so her character and her issues seem to be fairly complex. First, we have her desire to fight someone without enmity, without any, being enemies, without hate, without revenge. Fight someone who she loves and fight to the death for some godforsaken reason. So that was her drive all this time. She also wants to fight a worthy opponent, first of all. And she was also taken from a situation of almost certain death. So someone who was supposed to die, she was supposed to die there. Right? And she was rescued from that. A little bit against her will, but then again, she probably agreed to that for some reason unknown to us still. And now she wants to essentially final destination. She avoided certain death, so now she seeks death out herself. So kind of like reversed final destination. That's all. Yes, that's all. I just want to die. Simple. We're not in Canada. There isn't any assisted suicide or anything like that. So I have to find creative ways. Ignis, and of course, student council president is the most powerful of them all. I mean, I guess it makes sense. You wouldn't elect a weak student to be the council president. But on the other hand, it really, really plays into the trope of student council president being above all. And it's great. Recruit. What is it about recruitment? Were they really trying to recruit them? Like the succubus lady was trying to, lure them all with her succubus charm and to join her harem, and this guy was trying to trap them so that, I guess that might be the recruitment angle. Become my minions and provide me with seed on one side, and become corpses that I can resurrect on the other side. That kind of a recruitment into their own armies, so to speak. I guess that makes more sense than Demented Track Club. Purgatory. Alvin Godfrey, student body president of Kimberly, and Carlos Withrow, 5th year prefect, cool-headed senior. She has, how should I say it? The two of them are the same archetype but different intensity. I guess that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, she's still flirty, she still has a choker with a heart on her neck and whatnot, but she's not like, demonic mind-controlling succubus. Get back to the depths of the labyrinth. So, do those two just fucking live here? Is it a form of detention? You get thrown into the labyrinth? Like it's fucking Arifureta? Those two don't usually come up this far. So I'm assuming it's like layers, and the upper layers of the labyrinth encroach upon the school, and the lower layers kind of stay where they're supposed to. So they usually dwell in the lower layers for some reasons. If they're students, do they just not attend class? I don't know, but it's interesting. Oh, those dynamics. If it's actually like, explained further and the situation develops in the source material, please don't spoil it to me, okay? Taken away. So yeah, the plan was essentially to kidnap them. Do you have a death wish? Very good question. She does. And we have the explanation straight from the horse's mouth. I've long since lost any attachment to life. Fighting, killing a random, well, not random, killing the son of the shogun or whoever he is. Yeah, I want to fight your son, the strongest fighter of your clan. Certainly, he's going to be a worthy opponent, right? The son of a ruler of some sort, the strongest warrior of your clan. No, you actually just fucking one-shot him not long ago. So another, like, unworthy opponent that she went through. Still not the kind of battle she was looking for. Still not the 1v1 with a worthy opponent with no enmity that she wanted. I really thought that it's her innate magic of some sort showing itself. That's why she was such an effective warrior. That's why she managed to solo so many people, because she might not have conscious control of her magic, but when she's in danger, her magic just flares up and stops the hit, for example. Or maybe it flares up and speeds up her strike, or, you know, stuff like that that she uses subconsciously. And Chela, I think that's her name. Chela's father noticed that potential and took her to school to be a mage. It would be a waste to let her die here. Yep. And so she was ripped from the arms of death, essentially. There's no joy in a blade wielded for revenge, a fair fight between opponents who respect and accept one another with no enmity between us. That's Shiawase. That's so weird, and at the same time so very Japanese, for lack of a better term, for lack of a better word. You know, having happiness, finding happiness in fighting your loved one to the death. It makes abso-fucking-lutely zero sense, no matter the angle you spin it at. It makes absolutely zero sense. But it's also so very Japanese, so very Asian. Because we need to remember she comes here from Asia. That concept of, like, you know, dishonor, honorable death, and all that jazz, and here the concept of this weird, demented shiawase. Yeah, I'm never a fan of things that are completely and utterly illogical, you know, in media, and in general in life. There are some things that are mostly illogical. You know, there are some choices that characters make that I say, oh, that stupid fuck did the worst thing possible at this moment. But there was some, you know, weird, twisted logic to what they did, usually. Usually you can, like, justify their actions or the events somehow, because there is some logic behind it, no matter how twisted it might be. This Hershey Awase, her happiness, I find myself, like, physically unable to comprehend it. There's, like, a mental block in my head that bars me from even considering it, from even thinking about it, because it's just so... how should I say it? I can't even find proper words that I want to use. Yeah, I really am not a fan of that. I really am not, and I honestly rather that her reasoning was, I was destined to die, right? I was brought up, I was born to be a weapon, I was taught to be a weapon. My goal in life is to die for my master, yada yada yada, the usual, like, samurai stuff. And I want an honorable death in battle with a worthy opponent. And so far, everybody I was able to just defeat. There's nobody worthy of, you know, taking my life. I want to find that one person who can actually fucking kill me. That I can understand. The logic here is still twisted, sure, but it exists. I want to find a person I love and the person who loves me, and then either I want to kill them or I want them to kill me. Nada. Zilch. Zero. No sense, no point, no logic, no nothing. Yeah, not a fan, and I spent way too much time talking about it, so I'm glad it's over. I'm glad she's going to find a new way of living. Yeah, stop looking for a place to die. We are your friends. We're gonna help you find a new way to live. Oliver is right here. We are all right here. We are your friends. Yeah, I'm glad we have that behind us. Seems very fast. But I don't really mind. I'd rather it feels too fast than us having to spend like 5 more episodes with Nanao being straight up suicidal, you know? I really like this narration from Charlie's point, from Charlie's perspective. It's not the first time we're getting it. I wonder how important she is going to be for the plot. You know? One thing for certain, so far she seems like the brains of the group, alongside Oliver maybe. I really like her. I really like her as a character, I gotta say. And it's very interesting to get that narration from the perspective of essentially a secondary character, you know? Now let's go and learn. And of course she sticks to him. And what's her face? I forgot, I'm sorry. She doesn't like that. She minds it a lot because she also wants a piece of Oliver for herself. Chelly doesn't. Chelly is very calm and composed and very smart and very wise, even, you could say. And this little like nod that she exchanged, yeah, that's cool. Spellblade. We have an explanation, more or less, what a Spellblade is. It seems Spellblade is a combat art. I thought initially, my thoughts in order, what I thought Spellblade might be. Initially, I thought Spellblades are wizards or mages or whatever you want to call them. I think they're called mages in the show. Mages that can use both magic and swords. That's usually the definition of a spellblade, spellsword, whatever. But every mage can use athame and magic, so that can be it. Then I thought maybe some special enchanted weapons of some sort. If not people, then items, right? No, sorry, before that I thought it might be a title given to some people who excel at both magic and melee combat. That maybe there are mages who are better at melee and slightly worse at magic. There are ones who are better at magic but kind of suck at melee combat. And there are those who mastered both and they have the title of Spellblade or something along those lines. Turns out not to be it. Then I thought Spellblades might be special weapons, maybe some enchanted athames, forged in the fires of Mount Bulgur in in the third era and quenched in the river Styx or whatever, giving them power to strike lightning at enemies or something along those lines. Not quite it. In this scene, initially, a specific type of sword art called a spell blade. I thought it might be an ethereal blade, right? You don't need to carry your atame with you because you can just yell Sperbrado and an ethereal sword appears in your hand and you can just slice and dice people with it. And it's weightless, you have control over it. Maybe some people learn to, control it with their mind so it flies around on its own, stuff like that. No. Turns out it's a combination combat art where you do something, it's undisclosed, and it's a sure kill, certain kill. And it seems to be a general blanket term for all techniques that can achieve that. And there's 6 known techniques, moves, whatever, that can achieve that, so 6 spell blades. And of course, it's a topic of research, but there is still 6 of them, and nobody knows how they work or who wields them or whatever. Sure, makes sense. So we know what a spellblade is, and we know there's 6 of them. What about the 7th? I suspect either Oliver or Nanao, probably Nanao, somehow manages to develop a 7th one, hence the title. Or maybe there's an unknown wielder of spellblade technique. Maybe someone evil, maybe the villain of the season or something, so he's not accounted for because he's been living alone, solitary, in solitude in I don't know, Transylvania and honing his skills and nobody knows about him, and then he appears, blah, I have a spellblade, and kills everybody, Maybe, something like that. I'm not sure. We'll see. What happens if 2 spellblade users fight? That's a good question. Either they both survive, because spellblades cancel each other out, or they both die. Or maybe there is actually a ranking list of spellblades, like Bob's spellblade is actually a little bit better than Tom's spellblade, so Bob will survive and Tom will die, or something along those lines. Kinda like infinities, right? Infinity is the biggest possible number. Not a number really, but you know what I mean. But there are bigger infinities and there are smaller infinities. Mindfuck, right? Because the amount of numbers, like not floating point, but like decimal numbers between 0 and 1 is infinite. And the amount of numbers between 0 and 10 is also infinite. But that infinity will be bigger than the infinity of 0 to 1. It will be 10 times as big, despite being infinite, right? So, sure, spell blades are the biggest, strongest techniques, attacks, but within them there are better spellblades and worse spellblades. An invincible sword technique. This guy wants to fight because, of course. Just fight him, dude. Just fight him. Why are you so, I don't know, afraid? Not afraid, but why do you not want to fight him? And yeah, if you're gonna fight, just fucking fight. Don't just throw the fight. Okay, we're constantly compared, of course. So he has like inferiority complex. Yeah, I guess so. I can apologize. What for? This, like, this switch from this to this was extremely abrupt. And it's another thing that either I'm still missing something, or maybe the adaptation is missing something, or maybe I'm just fucking stupid. Because I don't know, why would Oliver not just fight? Is he afraid of losing? But he wanted to throw the fight in the first place, so if he fights and wins, that's good. He defeated the bully. If he fights and loses, that's good. He wanted to lose anyway. There's many things in this show so far that I'm just like, why, what, huh? And this is another one of them. And this explanation didn't really explain shit. Like, okay, it told us that he has some sort of an inferiority complex and whatnot, but it didn't really explain anybody's actions. It didn't explain Oliver's reluctance to fight. You know, nothing of the sort. This is such a blatant Snape ripoff that it's... I wanted to say it's not even funny, and then I started laughing. Yes. I have pet peeve. One of them is having to say the same thing to the same person twice. And if I have to say 3 times, they're a monkey. What is your name, monkey? Ahaha, yes, your parents are stupid, of course. He's such a trope. He's such a trope of an evil teacher that it's genuinely funny. Crucio isn't funny, though. Milligan the 4th year. And the combat arts teacher as well. Also the contrast, right? This is the good guy. He's teaching us sword combat, and he's nice, and he's very diligent and whatnot, and he's wearing white and blue robes. This is an evil guy. He's evil. He wants to kill the troll, and he's evil, and he's really not polite, and he's not nice towards the students, and he's evil, so he wears black and red. And of course we need to complete a full investigation before we can safely dispose of the troll. But the motivation for killing the troll, I guess it's kind of like putting down a rabid dog. Right? When a dog attacks a person, chances are they will have to be put down. Something along those lines? Maybe. It's just going to step on that monkey. I mean, probably not. It's Katie we're talking about. And thankfully Katie managed to find a friend, a fellow like-minded friend. That's why she's happy, because she thought she's alone against the world, essentially. Maybe with a group of her friends, but her friends aren't really like super, you know, a picket line and gluing themselves to the road in the name of saving magical animals. It's just her. So, sure, her friends support her, but not, like, support her. And now she found someone who will support her. Good on her. Good on you, Katie. Just don't throw red paint at Van Gogh pieces. Challenge to a duel, of course. So, go and duel him. I don't know why it's such a big thing. I really don't know why that's such a big thing, that duel. Am I missing something, or is the adaptation missing something? Because, like, I could understand it if Oliver was afraid that, oh, he's going to try some dirty tricks to kill me or something, but I don't think he actually wants to kill Oliver. He wants to have a legit duel. So give him that legit duel. There's gonna be some safeguards in place, right? This spell that turned out to be useless on both Oliver and Nanao, but, you know, as long as Oliver fights and doesn't get influenced by Nanao particles to go berserk rage, he probably won't be able to break the spell. Nanao, I would be afraid of her breaking the spell, but yeah, but Oliver? No. I see no issue with Oliver fighting Andrews, especially if they do that under the watchful eye of a teacher, so that even if the magic protection gets broken somehow, the teacher can just break up the fight. Right? Wingardium Leviosa, they float up and they can't fight anymore. Or, I don't know, Volus Reisus, to raise a wall between them. There are ways to prevent two people from fighting, so why the reluctance? I don't get it. I really don't. There we go. There we go. I talked a little bit during what show was it? I can't remember. I think it was during Ryza, about mystery versus not knowing. Mystery is when the characters don't know things and the viewer doesn't know things. So the viewer doesn't know things himself and doesn't know things by proxy either. And then there's not knowing, where the characters in the show or in whatever media are perfectly knowledgeable of what's going on, but the viewer isn't. The former is good, it feels good. The latter, not always. Because you constantly get the feeling that you're missing something, that something remains unexplained, that the characters are moving in ways that you cannot see, cannot predict, cannot do anything with, because they're living in their own world and you don't have full entry into it. Mystery is much better in that regard because we discover the solutions to those mysteries, we discover those mysteries themselves with characters themselves. In this show, I see many instances of just not knowing. It's not so much mystery. There are bits and pieces of mystery, sure, but it's mostly just not knowing. Oliver's situation, for example, why does he have a bodyguard always around him who's his brother and whatnot? That's not a mystery, that's not knowing. What's the deal with Nanao? That used to be a mystery, I guess. Okay, cool. That used to be a mystery because our characters in the show, besides Nanao, were also not privy to what was going on with her. So that was a mystery, that got resolved. That was good. And now we have the situation with Andrew, whatever his name is. And that doesn't feel like mystery. It feels like not knowing again. Because apparently Chella knows what's going on, Oliver knows what's going on, but I don't. So it's not a mystery. Yeah. Huh. This episode had some... It had some good moments. Mostly. To be fair. To be fair, it was mostly good moments. Some really cool fights. Some... I'm really glad that the situation with Nanao got mostly resolved. That instead of fighting a way to die, she will now be... looking for ways to live that's great. That's genuinely great. I really, really, really enjoyed Shelly. She's probably my favorite character so far, honestly. So yeah, some genuinely good moments. We learned finally what the spell blades are. That's another great thing. And then we also have those like lower points, so to speak. Like, we spent a lot of time. I'm looking at the timeline here, and it was like between 3 and 5 minutes, something thereabouts. I think closer to, yeah, 3 to 5 minutes or so. We spent that time on Olivier versus Andrew duel. And I'm none the wiser after that time was spent. Just like I didn't know why Olivier doesn't want to fight, I still don't know why Olivier doesn't want to fight. So it kind of feels like a little bit of wasted time. I have a feeling, I have a sneaking suspicion, it's one of the series that wasn't made as an advertisement for the source material, but rather it was made for the existing fandom of the source material. I suspect that's the case, because shows that are made as advertisement usually contain everything that the source material does, up to a point though. Or maybe they rip off some subplots or something like that, but mostly it's beat for beat for beat. Shows that are made for the fans of an existing franchise usually miss things that the fans will know by heart, so why include them? So this one really feels like the latter. Or perhaps it's just adaptation woes. Perhaps some guy in a suit decided that we cut out this, we cut out this, we cut out that, because we have 23 minutes and 39 seconds for the episode, and those scenes just, throw them out because they bloat our runtime. I wonder if that was the case. It really seems at times like there is a scene, then an abrupt break, and another scene, another bit of the episode begins. Kind of like some transition scene was cut off for the sake of brevity. And I wonder if that was the case. I guess I sometimes come back to that topic of 24 minutes, roughly, 24 minutes per episode and 12 or a maximum of 13 episodes per core is a stifling limitation at times. Really, at times you would want an episode to last 26 minutes maybe. I'm not saying half an hour, but maybe 26 minutes, maybe 27. And you sometimes would want the core to last 9 episodes. Sometimes you'd want it to last 17 episodes, not necessarily 12 or 24, I know that's because of the time slots on TV, right? You have so many time slots and they have a certain length, so you can't just change that because other shows will suffer for it. But I wish there wasn't that limitation. I am waiting. I'm waiting because I think it's going to happen. A show, an anime that ditches that format. Just ditches it. Every episode is 32 minutes. Some are 30 minutes, some are 35 minutes. The whole season is 11 episodes, or maybe 13, or maybe 17, or something like that. And they don't release it on the TV, or maybe they do, why not? But if they don't, they release it straight to streaming or maybe straight to DVD or something like that, you know? My prime candidate to do that so far is Studio Trigger. If I were to bet who's going to be the first one to do away with that pattern, it would be Trigger. They were the first ones, I think, who started crowdfunding on Patreon, for example. So it wouldn't surprise me if they were the first ones to lean even a little bit more towards the West, right? Because TV series here in the West they don't have like full rigid time slots. Sometimes an episode is 45 minutes, sometimes it's 40 minutes, sometimes it's 55. It's not constant, it's not rigid. Season 1 has 9 episodes, season 2 has 15, right? I'm waiting for that to happen. Or maybe it already has. Let me know if that's the case. I know that this season there's a show, I just don't remember which one is it. That's going to be, I believe, 15 episodes long. So it's going to do away at least with the core limitation, not with the episode runtime limitation though. But yeah, I guess that's just a digression. Good episode overall. I'm still very much confused at some things, but I guess it's going to be a running theme. I liked episode 2 as well, and I also ended it very much confused. I fully expect to like episode 4 and also end up confused after episode 4. So it's interesting, you know, it's kind of fresh to scratch my head every so often when watching an episode of anime. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it from me for today, but maybe you guys have something to say. If so, say so down in the comments below. What did you think of this episode, my reaction, my theories? No spoilers, please. Clarifications are good, but be aware of spoilers and err on the side of caution. If you're not sure if something is a spoiler or not, treat it as a spoiler. And maybe post it on my Discord. It's up here, also linked in the description. You can join it. There's a channel for this show where you can post spoilers to your heart's content, and maybe other people will, look at your spoiler comment and decide whether it truly is a spoiler or not, and maybe ping me there if it's not a spoiler and I can see it freely. You know, crowdsourced spoiler tagging kind of sort of deal, I guess. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Nanatsu no Maken ga Shihai Suru, but also Atelier, Ryza, Helck, Undead Girl, Murder Face, Zom 100, and others. I also stream sometimes, so you might want to click the bell icon to be notified. Mostly gacha games this weekend or next weekend. I think I'm going to be streaming some Gunpla building as well, so stay tuned for that. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, linked down below, where for $10 a month you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Madoka Magica, Symphogear and others, and for just $1 a month you get your role on the Discord and a place in the credits that you will see shortly. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the list of my wonderful Patreons: QB Without a Net, Fruitze, Rainer, Aquamancer, Yuki Ally, Fussel, Dr. Watt, Marsh and Hans Peter, and you can join their ranks without the need to duel them for it.